Go in there.
And this is crazy, but I'm tying with 17/0 thread, and it's not as bad as you think it is. And you'll get used to it if you ever try it. But this stuff, I hate buildup, and this, I don't get any buildup.
No, you don't.
Oh, it works. It's great.
Where do you get it?
Anywhere. Theo's got
Theo's got
it.
17 on?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has it here.
He's hiding. He's hoarding the 17 on.
Yeah, we got 17 on.
All right.
Yeah, you gotta order 5 boxes of it when Herman comes, because everybody buys it all the time. Or if you don't get over to the rack fast enough, it's all gone.
And this, I just take one strand of the tinsel, and this will do a lot of red
So you
ends.
split it?
No, I'm just taking one strand out of it is what I'm doing. I'm being cheap is what I'm doing.
So you got enough for 700 years worth of stuff.
Yeah, right there. Well, I use it for other things, but I just wanted to have a red.
You just want a little tiny speck of red on the bottom.
Yeah, it actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a dot of UV knot sense, and it magnifies it.
Okay,
And see what I've got, see where I've got the hook,
yeah.
the thread? I'm way down into the back.
right.
Okay, right in the bed.
When did this knot sense chemical?
Come out?
Yeah.
It's been out for at least 10 years,
Okay.
because I've only been tying for 10 years. I watched for about a year before I started getting into it. So I just wrapped it 2 or 3 times. I just want that butt in, and I'm coming up to the front.
So you're just gonna have a speck of red.
Yeah,
back there.
you'll see it when I get to it. Just, and maybe it doesn't matter, but I like to think so. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so what I've done is I've got to back up to the front, okay? And I'm going to, and I've had this discussion with Mr. Takahashi, and what happens is everybody does the rib sections on a midge, right? Everybody can rib it, but there's actually a horizontal line in that midge if you ever look at them when they're alive, and that's what this is going to do.
Getting greedy here, Herman.
What's going on?
Trying to get in there.
Cole,
Just give me your hand.
am I good?
Yeah, just
Touch the-
right behind
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
That's right.
There you go. Well, it was there.
Keep going, keep going.
There we go.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, and what I've got is the Largatoon and the extra fine, and this is the copper. And I'm gonna tie that median line into that fly like a nut. And this fly is not in Takahashi's book. I wouldn't give this one to him. And it's me, but it's fun. And if you ever see me around him, I pick on him a lot, don't I, Jerry?
Well, it's kind of mutual, so.
Yeah, well, never mind.
So you're gonna put that line on both?
Yeah, see, it's come, I've tied it and see it how it's come, it's on both sides. So I've got that lateral line going in that
On both
midge.
sides.
Now, that's whacked, I know, but,
Hey,
I tie
That's the
it,
fun.
I'm dealing with it, so I take it and I use it that way. Okay, this is just good old medium D-rib, clear. Okay, and I like the way it refracts light. Now, if I was tying this in black, I'd actually lay a base of black thread down. Have you had a chance to fish these yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. You know I gave some to your dad.
Yeah, he gave me one.
Okay.
He gave me one.
he gave him 700 up, he gave you one, huh?
It's you know what the meanest thing to do is to give a guy 2. Because what happens is he'll fish that first one, catch fish, and you go, man, should I use this?
Oh, we
or
got
shouldn't
one
I
left.
use this? And I'm from the inner city. I believe in pushing drugs, so I just changed my method now, and I push flies. But I've got this here, and I'm going to cut a taper into it so that I don't get buildup at the back end. And I'm going to tell you another good secret. You know these razor blades?
Where do you find double-edged razor blades?
Oh, if you can get them at Walgreens, but I'm a cheap son of a gun, so I go to Meiningers, and they're about half the price. So go there instead. Yeah, they're
Turned
cheaper.
4 gallons of gas, but I
Yeah,
got
yeah, you gotta. Yeah, well, that's a good point. But they're much cheaper down there. We're tying in that D-rib.
It's just a clear one.
It's just clear. And see where I'm taking my thread? I'm just taking it,
You're cutting the D off then, right?
yeah, I'm cutting the underside of it, okay?
Yeah.
And see where I'm leaving my thread? That's where I'm gonna tie off my D-rib. Because what happens is, if I took it all the way up, I'd get this fat thorax area. And if you look at it, it bumps, it's fat, but it's not that much fatter.
Just a tiny bit for the wing,
Yeah.
wing bud. You could do that. Have you done that with tubing? With
Yeah,
this
but what
tubing?
happens is it flattens out too much, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
But if I were to use tubing, I'd take the wire and I'd stick it inside the tubing.
And so what is that material that you're using right there now?
Which one? This is just D-rib,
Clear the
D-rib.
What about using solid, Herman? Solid too.
It's like a half circle.
No, but I mean, what about the regular round, the round
round
solid
ribbing?
stuff?
You can use that like the Stretch Magic.
Stretch
You can
Magic,
use, you
that-
can
yeah,
use
yeah.
the Stretch Magic. Yeah, that'll work. I just didn't have, I'll be honest with you, I got a bunch of this stuff because I know Stall Cup really well. He's got a 3,000 yard spool of it in his basement.
That's enough for 900 years.
He really, man, he's got,
That's
man.
1,000 lifetimes easily. That's if you tied them every day.
Shane, can I have a yard, couple yards? Go ahead, take it, please. His mother's going, take the whole thing.
He's still living with his mother's.
Oh, he is still living in his mom's basement, man. And you don't think I give him all heck for that, man.
How's he doing health-wise?
Not very good.
Really?
Yeah. He's got a lot of issues, pain issues that have not been resolved, and they're neck issues that he's had multiple surgeries on his neck.
Was he getting in a wreck or something, or is that all congenital?
No, it's he did what us people have done when we were foolish and young, and he was riding bulls.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
So you're running the rib.
I'm running it right in between.
Yeah, yeah.
And what it's doing, you'll have to, my background's in design,
Creating some more
okay,
separation.
so I'm just getting that segmentation, it's just, and it's also more weight, all right? But I just like the way it
The way
looks.
it looks.
No, the segmentation is really more pronounced.
It is. If you want something to look dark, you put something light to it. And we always used to we always used to draw and add white lines to a black marker to better edge the fish.
Right.
But see what happens though? It's still translucent as all get out, but it's still got all that. If you look at that bug in that water, man, it's closer to that look.
Yeah.
And that's what I was after.
It's reflecting a lot of wetness and a lot of light.
Yeah, and it's just something else to give it, it's just like that redhead that stands with all those dark-haired women. It just stands out just a little bit more than the other one.
I don't know if it's.
I wanted to okay, let's see if these guys will react. Here we go. Oh, no, my wife, no, there's two things you never teach your wife to do: how to drive and how to use a sword. That'll get you. That girl is so quick with a sword. We used to do demonstrations up and down the front range. Oh, man, it was so much fun. She's so quick with a sword, it's not funny.
I don't even let my wife in the kitchen.
Oh, you should see this, man.
Fighter.
She knows she can fight with a sword.
My goodness.
She's so much fun. She's so tiny too. I weigh twice as much as her, and she says she's 5 foot, but she's not 5 foot. But the girl's got salt. That's why I married her. Anyway, I bring my thread up right behind the eye, and I'm gonna create a little bump. And what I'm doing is I'm creating that bump. Okay, I'm gonna take my time tying these flies. You guys are gonna learn how to tie them, or I can just blow through this, and I ain't blowing through this. So you're gonna learn.
We're having fun here too.
So we're gonna, if
You're not the only
you
one
get
having
bored,
fun.
you can walk out. But I'm gonna create a bump of thread behind that eye. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let those gills, I want those gills to lift up.
So this stuff you're tying on is what?
This is floral fiber in the clear. Okay, and it gives, you know what happens? This stuff fluoresces, I think it fluoresces at a certain wavelength, and especially down deep, and I think that's part of the reason this thing works.
It's got a pretty hefty hank of it.
Yeah, you're gonna see why when I trim it a little bit,
Okay.
okay? Now I've got some,
I like that.
I've got some, what are these?
That's one of my.
What are they
Christmas
called?
tree ornament things that-
No. Biots. These
biots.
these are goose biots in gray. You can do any color. Now, I'm tying this in a clear and a red, and you can change any color combination you want. But these just are a couple biots, and these are what I'm using for my wing pads.
The wing pads, okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tie microfibbits, do the curl, and fill them in with UV nonsense like my buddy Brian Yamauchi does. Man, he's crazy, but that fly looks so good when he's done with it.
Yeah, I know.
But man, who wants to? Brian, we ain't got your eyesight, brother.
Yeah, it takes me that long just to tie one of these.
Okay.
Are those goose
Biots
or
on both
turkey?
sides. What's that?
Are those goose or turkey biots?
It doesn't matter, but goose. These are goose because that's what I have. All you want is something that's going to give you a little. Look at the color on it. It's light, dark, light. So it's going to give you separation. It's going to look like a wing pad. And that when I tie, that's what I'm looking for. It's not so much what it's made out as so much as the effect I'm trying to create. Okay. So it's funny because. There is no one way to tie a fly. There are so many different ways, and it's just that I think, and this is just DeGala's gospel to DeGala, I'm trying to imitate what's in that water and how it moves and what it looks like. So whatever it takes to do that is cool. I add maybe way too much detail to my flies, but because I choose to do that. But for me, I'm a designer, so I like it to look that way. So, but for some guys, just a piece of yarn on a hook and call it a San Juan worm is good to go and it catches fish. So it doesn't really matter. This is medallion sheeting. I'm going to tell you something. This stuff cost out the nose and Stock Up smiles every time you guys buy a package of it. Okay, but what I do is I take a strip of it. I tape it onto this board and I use my drafting edge to cut the strips. I do not waste any. I mean, I get it all. If you ever try to cut it with a scissors, because I know you have, you can, but you waste a whole lot of it. All right?
Well, it doesn't cut very well with scissors.
Yeah,
So
you just
you cut it with the exact.
X-Acto knife is perfect, and it doesn't cut very well across.
No, you gotta
Cuts
cut
well.
it
Cross cut
lengthwise.
sucks. Yeah.
You gotta go lengthwise.
Okay, so I'm just taking my medallion sheeting and putting it up over the top
You're cutting it with the grain or against?
with it,
With it.
with it in
yes,
strips. Yeah.
Lengthwise.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that's what you want, it's as long as.
Now, this stuff is, Nature Spirit came out with these different colors of peacock herl, and these are just gorgeous. Hairline also has them too, okay? And I know that Theo's got the Nature Spirit stuff. This is just the bronze.
Are they all stripped? No. Are they all stripped?
What do you
No,
mean
no, it's
strip?
just it's
No,
just
they're
matte.
regular, they've just been bleached and then they've been dyed a color.
see.
And they've got that color to them that are it's just gorgeous stuff, man.
So you're just blending.
I'm just tying it in.
So it's not the quill, it's the entire herl.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, yep.
All right. So the fibers are gonna be the legs and you're gonna make a wing, whoops, you're gonna make a wing case.
Yeah, over with
I
the,
got you. Yeah, with the medallion. This looks a little bit like a style cut modification.
it is, I hang around with him way
Yeah, I've
too
got
much.
his Mayfly book.
Oh, yeah.
I learned a lot from him. He taught me how to do biots.
I actually have one of his first, but his second transcript on his caddisfly book, which he hasn't put out yet.
So you use that material there rather than a flashback type of stuff.
I actually will put a flashback underneath it just to give it a
A little more flip.
little zing. And I've actually taken the flashback and weaved it into, like a nut, weaved it into the abdomen section, alternating in between it. So I've actually, wrap, go over, underneath, over,
Kinda
underneath.
weaving it?
and- Yeah, like a nut. And you can, but that's a little much even for me. But it works. The darn thing works. And if you think about it, when that thing is about to emerge, that shuck fills with air and it does look flashy right in there. I'm just pulling my buyouts up to the front. tie off, and basically the fly is done. I don't tie many ties because I know I'm gonna coat it with UV nonsense.